Hello again everyone, and welcome to another video of a car I'd like to feature on my channel. This is one you don't see a lot of. I actually had never seen one before I bought this one. This is 1960 Dodge Dart, and the model, or the trim level, is Phoenix, which would have been the top of the line trim from my understanding in 1960. This car has had a repaint on it. It does have original interior. The paint job is old, or I don't know how old. The interior is really cool and original. I'll get to that again later. But I personally bought this because I like the styling of it. It has this nice fastback slope that goes into the upward angle of the fins there. Little fins, and it has all the extra chrome down the sides. It's just, I don't know, it's got coolness to me. Old school coolness, nothing like real coolness, but I like the giant tail lights and reverse lights. It is pretty wide looking back here. Old bumper. The chrome's a little weak on it. It's another car you bought that I just had to do a little bit of work to it. Most of the stuff on this car though is in working condition. Wheels, I'm not quite sold on the Magnum 500s. They don't look bad. I'm not really into spending a bunch of money to put hubcaps on it. A lot of the ones that you see on the internet have hubcaps. I like the big quad headlight look. I like the big wide mouth grille. Show you. I like how, look, the rear view mirror comes up off the dash. The driver's seat is taller than the passenger seat. Just some little odd things like that. This does have a cracked windshield. I do not know if you can get one. I've called a couple of glass suppliers. They see a stock number for it, but nobody has them in stock. I don't know if it has to be made, things like that. Back window, look at how cool, look how much it goes over. Like almost basically you sit your head here, like you're sitting in the back seat. You can look up. It really comes forward over that rear seat area. It gives a lot of illumination inside the car. Don't think the rear package tray is original. I believe the door panels and the seats are original. Don't know about the carpet. I don't know about this thing on the dash up here. I don't know if that's original. Interior dome lights and stuff work. I mean, Dodge was not the most sophisticated fancy car like that. I did a video, and you can find it on the website, of a 59 Ford Galaxy. It's a little more fancier inside because the Galaxy was the fancy trim and the Phoenix is the fancy trim, but it appears Dodge is just a little more not to the level of the Galaxy was. I'm going to turn on the parking lights and the reverse lights because those are kind of cool. Let me turn the key on, and the radio was working. It takes a little bit to warm up, but we'll turn that down. So lights on, and then reverse. So we go back here and look at how big and bright those backup lights are. They're cool. I mean, they're almost the same size as the brake light, just a hair smaller, it looks like. It's got little reflectors up here. Turn those back off. Push button tranny, so you put it in neutral. It has, open this up and show you the door panels. And the original seats are somewhere, you know, on this, unfortunately. This seat pattern, I heard there's a video online of another guy that years ago had SMS in Portland, Oregon, I think they are, remake him a set of seat covers. It cost a lot of money. Still drivable. You can maybe put a blanket on it to help protect it. Headliners, nice shape, like I said before. Visors. It's got the good, you know, Chrysler tile. Big steering wheel with, it's got a couple little cracks in it, but it's mostly solid feeling all the way across with a little speckle fleckle in the translucent steering wheel. How about the gauge cluster that's illuminated from the backlight? That's kind of cool. I mean, at night, let me turn those lights on again. Oh, there is a little bit of lights that shine up down in there, and you can see that probably illuminate it a little bit, but the headlights would illuminate it good. The cool, funky, you know, rear view mirror, radio. I like the I'll get the key out. I'll open the trunk and the hood in a minute, but I won't look down there. When you look down the rear view mirror there, you kind of see the fin and everything, so you get a lot of visual reference points when you're driving around. We'll go back, open the trunk, we'll open the hood, show you all that stuff. This car, the gentleman I purchased this from did a little bit of work to it. He started by restoring the trunk. So the trunk is actually in pretty nice shape under this carpet. He redid it all. I don't know what the condition of it was before, but the trunk is probably cosmetically the nicest part. The inner trunk, he didn't do the trunk lid, but that's still pretty good. The Lightworks spare tire jack. You got a couple old things here, old advertisements of the car. Here's a broadcast sheet that was under a seat, looks like somebody grabbed out of there at some point. Old Dodge manual. It's got a couple trim pieces I can show you. This piece goes in the driver's side front, and it has a dent in it. If you walk up here, it's got a couple patina things on it, a little bit of stuff going on in the front, but something gouged it here, so there's that piece. But I think to get to the bolts, you got to pull the bumpers off and maybe take the grill out too, and makes it a little more harder to put on, but you can. Here is under the engine bay. The car, as you can see by the firewall, wasn't as pink normally. It was actually kind of beigey. And then when somebody re-sprayed it, they put a little pink into it. So I call it Pinky. Pink ladies from Greece or somebody should be driving this thing. Here we are with a 318 poly motor, the poly head motor or the wide block. I don't know what you call it. 318 4-barrel carburetor. It runs okay, runs good. Push button tranny, nothing to write home about. Big heavy car. I mean, there's a lot of metal here. It's kind of what you got back in the day. It does not have power steering, and it currently does not have power brakes. I had a guy come in and told me that possibly with his bracket there would have been a booster thing up here that came down and then supplied power brakes to the top of the master cylinder, but he said more of a Mopar guy than me, and I don't know if that's 100% correct or not, but possibility that those parts failed a long time ago and they never really made them, and I guess now they make some parts like it that work, but back in the day somebody might have just removed it and made it a manual brake car. Still Singer master cylinder, which is always a little scary just because you got no backup plan. Takes a little two hands and a force bit to close the hood. You're gonna need a WD-40 the latch. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Let me fire it up, pull it outside, and we'll take you for a cruise around the block. go again. Back in the car. Roll up our windows. Doors are closed, mirrors are good. Push button tranny. Parking brake off. So there's no park on this transmission. You have drive, reverse, neutral, second, and low. So don't park on too many hills. I'd maybe bring a chalk with you to be safe if you do. Exhaust on it, so you can hear that a little bit in the back. It's not crazy, it's not super loud. Kind of sounds good outside. A little bit noise in it. Take your thumb off the steering wheel, this horn button rattles a little. I kind of just drive with my finger on it. The brakes are a weird setup on this. Dodge only used them for 2 years, I guess. There's another video of a guy talking about how bad the brakes were. It's not that they're bad, they're just a bad design setup, I guess. It's got dual wheel cylinders on each front drum. Kind of one at the top and one at the bottom. And the brakes are fairly skinny. So it just wasn't the greatest design. There's like this S tube that goes from the top to the bottom. You got to bleed them a certain way and to get them all functioning. They are functioning pretty good. Now we had to do some work on them at the shop that I go to get them all dialed in as best we could. The motor runs pretty good. The carburetor, there's a little hesitancy in it. A little flat spot. Seems to run and drive okay. The speedometer seems fairly accurate. I don't know if the one thing I don't know, I know the amp gauge comes on. Fuel gauge is working properly. The radio does work. It takes a minute to warm up, just like the other one, but it's cool that it's still working. There's that flat spot. Maybe the tire. It's kind of weird. I've been driving it a little bit around town when I can. There's the radio. Why did it come on up? So weird and unusual to not look up here, but to look down here catches me off sometimes. I always go to look up there when I drive the car. There's a buddy of mine, man, driving his short wide. It's a good, fairly good driving car. Frost fun little driver. Go back to off. There's a Ford Lightning, that's cool. Don't see many of those running around anymore. Well, there's a football game on. Radio. These old cars that don't have tax and stuff, you kind of, to me it feels like it's maybe idling a little bit low. Maybe I got to get that adjusted. It's not bad. Oh, that guy's in a hurry. No power steering, no power brakes, like I said earlier. But it goes good. It's comfortable. We got some wind noise you can hear at this wing window, it feels like. You get up there around 40, it starts coming in. But overall, you know, I just want this because it's kind of cool looking. I love the styling of it. I don't, you know, the dash is simple. I like the interior that's weird. I like the big translucent steering wheel. I like the fins. I like the backup lights a lot because they're big, huge spots. And they're just, like I've said in many other videos, I like odder cars. I like cars you don't see every day. Which is why I don't do videos on every car that I get, because a lot of them you see all the time. You can search them all over. I mean, even there's other videos from YouTube out there on this, but it's more of a very unique car that doesn't have a lot of videos on it like some of the other things. So, but as the world starts to sprinkle, I'll vroom vroom. I'll get these to pull inside and get them out of the rain before it shows up. And like I say, if you like the video, like the video. If you don't like it, you got thumbs up, you got thumbs down. Do what you want to do. It's your life. Have a good day.